Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you. Dr. Tony D. Collins is here to encourage, motivate, inspire, guide you into excellence. Your success matters. Your dreams matter. Sign up right now with Shepherd One Coaching and become a better you.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mocha Moments. I'm so delighted you all have joined us this evening. If you don't mind, take the opportunity or take this occasion to text a friend, a family member, a coworker, and a church family member, and let them know that Mocha Moments is streaming live now. I have some things that I believe are going to be inspiring to you, but it's also going to challenge you tonight. And I'd love to see as many of us get on tonight. I have a message to share with you that I hope will resonate with everyone who decides to connect with us on this evening. Let me say that it's been a beautiful day today. The weather is tremendous. Wow, what a blessing. You know, I'm always grateful for good weather, especially during this time of year when we get that unseasonable weather. I'd much rather have the sunshine and the warmth and the mild temperatures than the frigid temperatures and the snow. That's just me. I know there's some people that love the winter months and love the cold weather and the snow and all that. It may be pretty, but it's not very appealing to me. I've just never been a winter person. But, you know, even in the winter, I'm still grateful that God allows us, me in particular, to see those winter days, as awful as they may be. But thank God that the weather is wonderful here in the Midwest, in Kansas City. Man, what a blessing, what a blessing, what a blessing. And, you know, I'm that person that I like to count down the days until spring officially begins, because that's something I anticipate every year, the beginning of spring. I love to see the flowers begin to bloom and the trees begin to bud and the leaves begin to pop out and all that wonderful stuff. That's just me. I'm giving some more people time to connect. Let me say this, remind you all, when you come on initially, some of you, I've watched, I'm able to sit here and watch the numbers as people pop in and everything. And sometimes during the what we call the pre-service video, some people will click in and then they'll click right back off because they think that nothing's going to happen. We do our Mocha Moments just like we do our Sunday morning live stream. We have the pre-service time that we play the video, giving people time and an opportunity to log in and to again, invite others to be a part of whatever we're doing at that particular time. Well, that's how we do Mocha Moments as well. So when you pop in there and you see just the little advertisements going, and it's going to be advertising Shepherd One Coaching, because that's the main platform of Mocha Moments is Shepherd One Coaching. And while I'm there, for any of you that are interested in engaging a life coach, someone that'll help you to get from where you are to where you want to be, I welcome you to go to my website, The Shepherd One. The Shepherd, rather, at shepherd1.com. I'm sorry, the Shepherd at shepherd1.com. Go to my website and check it out. Let me say good evening to Pastor Terry Bradshaw Jr. God bless you. Thank you for popping in. All of you that are popping in, some names I acknowledge, especially the pastors that pop in, because I know they don't have to take time out to look in on someone like myself. I'm humbled by that anytime people think well enough to look in and see what it is that I'm sharing at any given time. You know, I know how pastor schedules are very, 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 very busy and condensed. So I just want to acknowledge any pastor that pops up on the screen. Thank you in advance for showing up this week. You know, we're just a week and a day removed from the tragic shooting that took place at the Chiefs Victory Parade. And there still remains a buzz in the city with regards to how that event has negatively impacted our city. I know some of you are anxious for this story to die down, but I, for one, I'm not anxious for this story to die down because it just highlights and raises more so the issue of a major problem that we have here in our city, and that is gun violence. Gun violence is a major problem in our city and in many cities across the nation. But per capita, Kansas City happens to be leading in that area of gun violence. We have more homicides here per capita than a lot of major cities. And this is a issue that we shouldn't just sweep under the rug or just ignore it and go on with our lives as though nothing has happened. I think these kind of events actually should adversely or negatively impact our city. It ought to impact us as a city, but it ought to impact us individually as well. Now, I understand that the parade was a high profile event that was broadcast not only locally but nationwide as well. I understand the public sentiment over the loss of an innocent life and the innocent bystanders who were injured by gunfire. You know, I understand us being outraged and feeling a sense of loss. And even now, you may even feel a sense of hopelessness by what has taken place. Just about a week ago, our city should be outraged over that senseless shooting. Everyone should be outraged over the loss of life and the many others who were injured. But, you know, what's even more disturbing is the fact that over the past week and a half, there have been at least 10 homicides that have taken place in this city, but not nearly as much has been mentioned about these homicides. Not nearly as much attention has been given to these homicides that did not take place at the site of the Chiefs rally. And for me, that's kind of sad. Now, let me be perfectly clear. I am by no means minimizing the shootings that took place after the Chiefs rally. I don't want anybody to get that ideal at all, because you all know, those of you that are members of Canaan and those of you that may not be members of Canaan, but you know me, you know my heart. I'm very sensitive to things that take place in our city and our communities, such as that awful event on last week. But what I am suggesting is that we need to raise our level of concern for the loss of life that is taking place in our communities on a weekly and even daily basis. I truly believe that more attention needs to be given to those homicides, just as the attention has been given to the homicide that took place there at the Chiefs rally. And again, my heart goes out to the family of the young lady that lost her life. My heart goes out for those victims who were injured, those bystanders who were injured. But I just want to highlight the fact that every life loss is significant, regardless as to where it may take place. Every homicide that takes place either in a public place or private residence, it negatively affects all of us. It doesn't have to be on the block in which I live. It doesn't have to be within a few block radius. It doesn't have to be in my immediate vicinity for it to affect me. All I have to do is be made aware that something like that has taken place and it affects me mentally and emotionally. No, I'm not falling apart, but my heart becomes a little heavy. I become a bit sad. And I truly believe that those of us who are connected tonight, who are born again believers, we all ought to feel that way. Anytime we hear this kind of thing happening in our city, happening even within our society, it ought to make us a little bit heavy at heart. It ought to cause us to want to do whatever we can to help bring about a solution that would change this type of situation that has just totally overrun our society. It has just totally overtaken our society. And so the question is, what do we need to do to bring about a change? Well, I believe that we need to attack this societal problem at its roots. Okay. The reality is, this is not an ethnic problem. This is not a problem that is isolated to any one community. This is a nationwide social and moral issue that must be addressed by us as a whole. No one little group is going to be able to affect the type of change that we need. No one individual is going to be able to affect the kind of change that is needed within our society. We've got to get to the point where we, as a collective body, nationwide, all ethnicities, people from all walks of life, begin to come together and begin to address this issue in a way that will bring about a change. So what seems to be the problem? From my assessment, from what I can see, and from what I hear from people as a result of having conversations here and there, people seem to be full of anger. People are just angry. And the anger that is plaguing our world today crosses social and economic lines. As I just stated, it's not confined to any one group of people, any one ethnicity, any one nationality, any one particular social economic category. The reality is this: white people are angry. Black people are angry. Hispanics are angry. Asians are angry. Believe it or not, rich people are angry. And poor people certainly are angry. And although there are varying degrees of anger for various reasons, the manifestation of the anger is often very destructive. It is literally destroying our nation. It is destroying our world. Now, again, people are angry for various reasons and whatever reasons. And I'm not saying that people don't have a right to be angry, but I think it's very important that we learn how to process our anger so that our anger neither becomes internally destructive nor externally destructive. You can carry anger so long that it will destroy you from the inside out first. Now, what you feel from the inside will most likely determine what you do on the outside. And when your anger surfaces from being internal and it manifests externally, not only will you serve to help destroy yourself, but you'll contribute to destroying the lives of other people. And that's literally what's taking place in our society right now today. People have not learned how to deal with and handle and control their internal anger. For some reason or another, we've been conditioned to take our anger out on other people. We've been conditioned not to control it, but rather to unleash it. And that's sad. When everybody's going around unleashing their anger on whomever they come across. It's really sad. One of the things that immediately comes to mind, it's so sad when you can't even drive down the street in peace. Does anybody other than myself get really irritated when you're driving down the highway And you might be in not the left lane, nor the total right lane, extreme right lane, but you might be in that middle lane. And you're literally driving the speed limit. And you have someone that is riding on your bumper too close for comfort. And it really irritates me when there's inclement weather, when the roads are wet, or when the roads may have a slight dusting of snow or whatever. It really it unnerves me. And then to have these people, when they finally decide to go around you, they zoom around you, and they flip you the bird, and they're cussing you out, although you can't hear them, and praise God that some of you can't. But they treat you like that, as though you're the one that's doing something wrong, when all you're doing is obeying the traffic laws. And just because you're not exceeding the speed limit, they're frustrated with you. Or it's even worse when you find yourself, you're kind of boxed in between vehicles. You have a person in front of you that's traveling a bit slow, but then you have a person both on your left or on your right, or you got the median over there, and you really can't do anything. You're boxed in, yet the person behind you is riding up on your tail as though they can force you to drive any faster, when it is impossible for you to do so because you have no control of the vehicle that's traveling in front of you. Any of you get irritated by that? Because I certainly get so irritated. Now, I'm not that person that's going to blow at you when you go around me and start fussing and all of that. When you go around me, I don't get animated and try to let that person see and know that I'm frustrated. No, I just keep it moving, because it's not even worth it. It doesn't serve any purpose. But people do that simply because they're angry. They're either angry or they're just not happy with themselves. And it's sad, but I truly believe that a lot of people need to just take the time and deal with and work through some of their internal issues, so that they won't be projecting all their anger onto other people. Because we are such an angry society, there is so much destruction that's taking place in our world today. Now, one of the weapons of mass destruction, in my humble opinion, has been the misuse of social media. Don't shut me off. Don't shut me off. Notice that I said the misuse of social media. Please understand, I am by no means totally opposed to social media. Okay. How do you know that? How should you know that? Because I'm talking to you through a social media platform right now. And I hope you will receive this and know that I'm trying to be very responsible with my use of the social media. I don't come on here to try to insult people. I don't come on here to try to hurt people, but actually I come on to try to lift people up. I try to encourage people. I try to get people to think differently, to think alternatively, from typical ways of thinking, if you will, because some of the thinking that is done today, my gosh, it's more harmful than good. Some of us just need to change the way we think as a people. We need to stop thinking so selfishly and start thinking in terms of being more considerate of other people. The truth is, people can be so mean and even cruel nowadays. And a lot of times it's just because everybody has access to a camera and an audience. That's the sad part right there. You know, once everybody gained free access to a camera and an audience, the camera came first because if you get a camera, you can always get an audience. An audience can be an audience of one. There's always someone out there that's crazy enough to sit and listen to just about anything. But this whole thing of social media and everybody having their cameras out and recording this, that, and the other, let me say for the record, a lot of it is non-productive. A lot of it is foolishness. A lot of it is not edifying to the hearer. Now, some people may think it to be very entertaining, but my question to you would be this. Where's your level of entertainment? What are the boundaries? What are the things that you just refuse to be entertained by? Because there are certain things that I just refuse to be entertained by. Everything can't just captivate my attention to the degree that I just sit and just watch any and everything. Because I'm very particular about what I allow go into through my eyes and in through my ears. I'm very particular about what I take in. But like I stated before, because people have access to a camera and an audience, people are going crazy and they're just putting any and everything out there for the consumption of viewers and listeners. Let me start with the entertainment industry. Have you all heard of what's going on or what's recently been taking place in the entertainment industry? The nonsense that's been going on with entertainers feuding and fighting through media outlets has literally risen to the level, or maybe lowered to the level, of ridiculous. It is ridiculous how these entertainers are using these media outlets to go at each other, to denigrate one another, to down one another, to ridicule one another. Number one, in my estimation, and somebody might say, well, who cares what you think or how you feel, but I'm going to share it anyway. In my estimation, it's unethical. It's unethical for people to get in front of a camera and just say all kind of things, all kind of horrific things, nasty things about others who work in their industry, people who have families, people who have reputations. It's unethical. Number two, it's weak. It is so weak. It's sad when people will hide behind cameras, but yet they can't sit down face to face and talk like two intelligent adults and discuss their issues. It's weak. Now, don't get me wrong. It takes two to be able to sit down and talk with some sense and discuss differences. Being able to listen and not speak when someone else is speaking, but listen for the sake of taking in information, processing that information with the intent of arriving at an equitable solution that will be good for everyone. When you can't do that, when you have to hide behind a camera and a microphone, then that's weak. Not only is it weak, it's immature. You know, some children only want to be heard, but they never want to listen. There are a lot of adults like that throw temper tantrums and they pout and they fuss because things aren't going their way. And instead of being an adult, a mature adult about it, they'll go out and use social media to speak disparagingly about the person with whom they have a disagreement. How in the world is that helping us as a people and as a society? When are we ever going to grow up and become mature again? And it's sad to say that not only is the secular world having this kind of issue, but the Christian community is suffering from the same thing. People don't mind attacking the church nowadays. People don't mind saying any and everything about pastors and preachers. No respect for anyone. And really, when you don't have respect for others as you should, you really don't have respect for yourself. When you get out on social media, when a person, I should say a person, because I know those of you that are viewing tonight, y'all not like that. But when a person will post things out on social media and fabricate things, another way of saying that, just tell lies. That's so immature. When they do things only to get attention, they want to be heard by somebody, but they're not saying anything worth listening to. And so they embellish certain stories. They lie about things. They say things that they believe will destroy the person that they don't care much for anymore. It's immature. It's unnecessary. We don't have to do that. We don't ever have to do that. You know, some of you may already know, but if you don't know, I'll just share this with you. I'm not belly aching. I'm not crying. I'm just giving you a reality. I've had so many things said about me on social media. And I'll be honest with you. There have been times that I've really wanted to go out there and really defend myself. And I had to stop and think, why give my energy to all of that negativity? Why take the time? Why waste the time to address something, first of all, that's foolish? Secondly, that is just not true. And thirdly, even if I did address it, I'm not going to change the minds or the perception of some people, because some people love hearing certain negative things said about me, and they want to believe it because they never liked me in the first place. But my point here is that, why should we even now address ridiculous stuff, go back and forth with someone who you already know has unresolved issues, internal unresolved issues, and their whole objective is to hurt anyone they can? And then another thing, it's a poor model for our children. I mean, what do our children have to look up to nowadays? When most of the adults are acting more immature than children are, rather, what do the children have to look forward to? I was once talking to a teenager who was having some issue with their parent, and to sit down and listen to this teenager talk, the teenager finally said to me, say, sometimes I feel like I'm the parent and that they're the teenager. And they're disappointed because they feel as though that they should be getting a better example from their parent than they're receiving. But thank God that child has enough wisdom to know the difference between right and wrong. And because of their level of maturity, that child have been able to navigate through their circumstance and their situation. It's amazing. And so again, the question comes up, what are we doing to be role models for our children. And don't give me that thing that I'm no one's role model. Listen, somebody is watching you. Somebody is aspiring to be like you. Believe it or not. And if it's young people that's aspiring to be like you, then certainly we ought to provide for young people the best example that we can. But look what we've turned into. We've become a society that no longer address issues. Instead, we're more prone to attack a person's character in an attempt to ruin their reputation. Why do we do that? Nothing good ever comes out of attacking a person's character. Why is that? It's because typically when a person is not very skilled at outdueling someone with their words, they are likely to resort to physical violence. They can't get you one way, so they'll attempt to get you another way. You know, I just mentioned how the entertainment industry has been recently plagued by the nonsense of engaging in media warfare. But our politicians are just as bad, if not worse, than our entertainers. Think about this. When was the last time you heard a politician actually address social or economic issues that are presently plaguing our nation? We're in the midst of an election year. The 2024 election is coming up in November. A lot of us are going to get up in arms because it's going to be time to vote for a president. Okay. There'll be other political officials who will probably be running for office as well. And let me stick a pin here and say this. Be more concerned about voting on legislative proposals, things that are going to actually change our laws. Be very diligent with regards to that, because the truth is the presidents really have little to no power with regards to changing laws and really impacting or affecting our society. I mean, they got to deal with the Senate and the House of Representatives, and what determines their power is whether or not they have a majority of their party in those two houses of legislation. Okay, but again, most of us don't have a clue as to what pressing issues that need to be resolved in this country. But we constantly hear enough name calling and disparaging remarks made about opposing candidates to last us a lifetime. I am so sick and tired of every time I turn on the television and there's someone on there campaigning for a government office. All they know to do is talk about how terrible their opponent is. They're not even highlighting their good or wonderful qualities or their dreams or visions for changing our nation and turning our nation for the better. They spend more time and more money and more television airtime downing their candidate, talking bad about their candidate. And what they really don't know is that when they're taking the time to talk more about their candidate than they are about the issues of themselves, they're really campaigning more for their candidate than they are for themselves. Now, I don't know about you all, but frankly, it turns me off to hear a candidate just the only message they have is how terrible the other candidate is. That turns me off. I don't need to hear that. But that's the example that's been set in our society. Most of our social troubles come from the mouths that are full of deadly poison. James chapter 3, verses 5 through 10. The Bible says, even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. That's what the tongue is. This is Bible right here. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature. The tongue starts fire, and it is set on fire by hell. It's in the word, y'all. I'm reading straight from the book. The tongue starts fire, and it is set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and creature of the sea is tamed and has been tamed by mankind. But no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Deadly poison. Watch this, church folk. The word says, with it we bless God and the Father, and with it we curse men who've been made in the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceed blessing and cursing. And the writer says, my brethren, these things ought not to be so. Now, before I close here today, allow me to circle back to the social media issue. One of the things that we must do is to learn and discipline ourselves to use social media responsibly. That even applies to when you're responding to certain posts. Some posts you should not respond to. Let me help some of y'all. Stop trying to act so spiritual, thinking that if you put a spiritual phrase like a God bless you or I'm praying for you, some of those things you don't need to respond to because you're encouraging the wrong spirit. You don't need to do that. I'm trying to bring comfort to somebody. No, you don't have enough information to respond. I'm trying to help you. Sometimes you're responding to things and you're not getting the full story of some situations. Sometimes, unbeknown to you, you're igniting the fuel of a person who's dealing with some mental issues. Stop and just listen to what's really been said or what's being said. They are literally slamming other people, talking bad about other people, and they'll dress it in a way to wherein what they say is that they'll say things as though they're sharing how they're being abused and mistreated. Sometimes you are encouraging the abuser. How many of you all know that people don't tell the truth? Especially when they're hurting and they're looking for someone to be on their side, to affirm them, to affirm their evil spirit, to affirm their ungodly ways, their ungodly actions. Don't be that individual. Don't be that person. You know, I know some of you may mean well, but sometimes it's better to just hold your peace Before you say, God bless you, and I'm praying for you, maybe you need to sit down and have a full conversation, and you might find out what the real deal is. Sometimes you need to ask questions before you just immediately take a side or a position. Some of you still might be saying, well, I don't see any harm in that. Listen, you may be encouraging a person who's trying to find justification for doing others bodily harm, and you don't even know it. Yeah, I understand. I've been there. I've been where you are. Your situation may have been totally different. Don't tell people that. Don't do it. I know I probably have made some of you very, very uncomfortable with sharing this with you, but I'm hoping you're taking the time to think about it and to see the truth in what I'm saying. Y'all, as a pastor, I deal with, and I've had to deal with just about everything that is almost imaginable to man, almost. Now, some of you might think I'm exaggerating, but if I was to share some of the stories of some of the things that I've had to deal with, it would leave you with your mouth hung open. Some of the spirits that I've had to deal with, and to see these spirits in operation, and to see them really become intense when they have a desire to hurt other people. And for those of you who take pleasure in trying to ruin the lives of others, let me ask you this. After you've gone out and after you've tried to destroy a person's reputation, destroy what others think about an individual, let me ask you this. What have you accomplished once you've inflicted all of that hurt and harm on those who've done absolutely nothing to you? Because that individual alone is not the only one that's affected. Sometimes when you're saying certain things about certain people, and when some of you are co-signing about certain things that are said about certain people, that individual alone is not the only person that's being hurt. Their family members are being hurt. Sometimes their spouses are being hurt. Their children are being hurt. Their parents, their siblings. Why? Just because you got in your feelings about what amounts to little to nothing. And the same holds true when you're just co-signing on another person's comments. Be careful. Those of you that are quick to believe anything that's put in printed text, think about how you would feel if someone was telling lies on you in an attempt to ruin your life. Think about it. I think what must happen for things to change, for all of this violence that we're experiencing, for that to subside, what needs to happen is more of us need a dose of taming our tongues, knowing when to hold your peace, knowing when to just be quiet, knowing when to walk away. No, it's not always easy. I shared with you a few moments ago how many times that I've been talked about, how many things that have been said of me on social media. And I guarantee you, not one of you could ever find a space or a place where I responded to any of it. Not once. And you all know that I'm good with words. I can use words to make my point. And I could totally dismantle some people if I so desired. I could really actually hurt some people with truth and not lies. But that's not my objective, to hurt people. Neither should it be your objective to hurt anyone. Neither should we be supportive of anyone who has the objective to hurt others. Don't be an amen corner for the devil. Wow, that's powerful right there. Don't be that person that adds venom to that poisonous tongue. Don't do it. Listen, and here's my final thought. We must once again begin to live by the principle that if you can't say anything good, then don't say anything at all. That's my Mocha Moments for tonight. I truly hope y'all been blessed. I hope at least you've been challenged. I hope that I've said something that will cause you to think, or even to think differently. It's okay to walk away. It's okay not to fight. It's okay not to retaliate. It's okay to hold your peace. It's okay to be patient. It's okay to be loving. It's okay to be kind. I'm going to mess you up. It's okay even to be angry. But if you're going to be angry, make sure that you sin not. Oh my gosh. Just don't sin. Don't unleash your anger on anyone else. And then teach and train your children to do so. I was going to close with it, but this is something else that just came up. We've got to teach our children in the home not to be so angry. And even now, when they do get angry, not to allow that anger to be manifested in violence. I say this because, again, you all always hear me talk about my upbringing because I'm so grateful to my parents for how they brought us up. My parents raised 9 children, and we didn't live in the biggest of house. You know, it was tight quarters most of the time until some of the older ones got old enough to get out on their own. But before that happened, we lived in tight quarters. One thing that our parents never tolerated was us fighting with one another. If there were licks passed, it would be out of the presence of our parents. And then if our parents ever caught us passing those licks, we got licks. They checked that quick, fast, and in a hurry. And you know, one of the things that would make me feel even worse when I got caught passing a lick is when our father would make me apologize to the one I hit. Sometimes I feel like, well, man, just whoop me. I don't want to apologize. But it was teaching me something. It was teaching me how to respect others. And that's what we need to learn and reinstill into our children, ourselves, our society. We've got to learn how to love and respect one another once again. Well, again, y'all, God bless you. I want you to always remember this. Jesus is Lord. So why not allow him to be Lord over your life? With that, I'm going to say, God bless